because what happens in Texas will not stay in Texas. It will set off a domino effect and the fall of democracy. We've got to continue to defend our country and the fight for our future. That's what's at stake. Muy buenas tardes. Esta tarde me da mucho gusto dar la bienvenida con los colegas de la legislatura estatal de Illinois a esta delegación de Texas, nuestras hermanas y hermanos. Lo hacemos porque los votantes y la mayoría de latinos que son protegidos bajo la ley del derecho al voto en todo el Medio Oeste. Eso está en riesgo. Luchamos para asegurar que este distrito en el cual nos encontramos hoy y que vivimos los votantes latinos tuvieran representación en el Congreso. Bajo la ley del derecho, los latinos son un grupo protegido. No es un tratado especial o un privilegio, sino es derecho de la ley. El derecho garantizado que la comunidad tenga la oportunidad y posibilidad de elegir a un candidato de su preferencia y es un derecho sagrado. Desde Illinois a Texas, la ley del derecho al voto debe respetarse. Como alguien que llegó a este país por Texas y encontró un hogar en Chicago durante los 60 y la lucha por los derechos civiles, valoro lo que la ley del derecho al voto significa para nuestra comunidad. Gracias a esta ley, fui el primer mexicoamericano de origen inmigrante en el Consejo Municipal de Chicago y años más tarde, el primer mexicoamericano en el Congreso de los Estados Unidos. Los votantes latinos merecen las opciones que se les ha prometido bajo la ley del derecho al voto. La comunidad latina es la población que más ha crecido y sigue creciendo. Hoy en día somos en exceso de 62 millones de personas. Nuestro poder representa una amenaza para algunos, los que en este momento se oponen a la democracia. El juego aquí no se trata solo de mover líneas y manipular elecciones, sino de eliminar completamente la representación de nuestro pueblo. Cualquier maniobra política o táctica para disminuir a nuestro poder es anticonstitucional y antiamericano. Por eso estamos unidos, alertando a los latinos y latinas. Nuestros derechos están bajo ataque y debemos detener este intento de callar a nuestras voces y robar las elecciones. Apoyamos a nuestras hermanas y hermanos de Texas porque lo que ocurra en Texas vendrá también aquí a Illinois y será un efecto dominó y la caída de nuestra democracia. Por eso, nuestra unidad y solidaridad con la delegación de Texas. Muchas gracias. Need a little help here. Next, I would like to introduce Representative Trey Martinez. Por favor.
Congressman. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, Chairman. My name is Trey Martinez-Fisher from San Antonio. I'm in my 12th term, and it's easy to get lost in this discussion because there's a lot of politics. People want to make this fight about politics and accuse Democrats of just acting like Democrats. This has nothing to do with the Democratic Party. This has everything to do with the democratic process. And stealing congressional districts mid-decade is wrong. And as a matter of fact, it's just nothing other than old school cheating. And so that's why we say that the President of the United States is not acting as the commander-in-chief, he's acting as the commander-in-chief because he's cheating on America, he's cheating on voting rights. Most importantly, he's cheating on minorities. For those of you who do not know Texas, Texas has the largest African-American population in the country. Beyond that, we have the second largest Latino population in the country. In the last 2 decades, as the country fights over population for seats in Congress, we have received 6 new seats in Congress because of the explosive growth of our community. All of that growth that brought us 6 congressional seats was 90% minority, 50% Latino. But you don't see those faces in these congressional districts because Republicans have mastered the art of stacking, cracking, and packing communities of color so they do not have the ability to elect candidates of their choice. And that is what's happening here. Make no mistake, this is all about how can we segregate communities of color to steal an election. And so I am very proud the Latino Caucus has come here to sound the alarm, to let America know just exactly what's going on. This is not a paragraph. This is a silencing of the voice of the demographic of the Latino and African-American community that brought these seats to begin with. There is a reason why Texas, since the inception of the Voting Rights Act in 1970, Congresswoman Barbara Jordan asked to put Texas as a covered jurisdiction. And every single decade from 1970, 1980, 1990, 2000, and 2010, Texas has never been able to go through a redistricting process without having a finding by a court or by the Department of Justice for intentionally discriminating against its own people. It's happened in the past, it's gonna happen here. And that's why this is wrong, and that's why we are here, and that's why this isn't about politics. This is personal to our community, and that's why we fight. So thank you for having us. Let's get that word out. We have a lot of work to do to represent the voices of our community, and I'm glad to share the podium with Representative Gina Hinojosa of Austin, Texas.
I am State Representative Gina Hinojosa. I represent Central Austin in the Texas House. And first, let me say what a privilege and honor it is to be here in this museum that celebrates the richness and the beauty of our Latino and our Mexican culture. We as a people take great pride in the richness of our culture. And as Texans, we know that our Latino culture permeates and infuses, it colors every aspect of our Texas culture. Because Latinos are Texas. We are the largest ethnic group in the whole state. We were the first Texans, right? Somos Tejanos. So it is a shame to see our Republican leadership in Texas and our governor try to minimize our political power when we are dominant in numbers and culture in our state. Let me give you some examples of what I mean by what they are trying to do in these new, what I'm now calling cheater maps that they are trying to pass. I said I represent Austin, Texas. In Austin, we have 2 members of Congress. We have one, Lloyd Doggett, represents Central Austin, and we have another, Greg Casar, who we share with San Antonio. That is a Latino opportunity district. It in fact elected a Latino, and it is eliminated in these new cheater maps. Houston is the city with the largest Latino population of any state in Texas. It has a representative, Sylvia Garcia. Sylvia Garcia, who was elected by a Latino opportunity district. That one district, their one Latino opportunity district has the Latino population cut well below 50%. And so now we will have the largest city in Texas with the largest Latino community without a Latino opportunity district. I originate from the Rio Grande Valley, from Brownsville, Texas. It is a small world, like the director of this museum. We encounter each other, and it is a point of feeling like the world is smaller, but some people see that we're a threat because we're everywhere. But let me give an example of what's happened in the Rio Grande Valley. The city that I am from, where my family still lives, Brownsville, it's represented by Congressman Vicente Gonzalez. If you look at that district in these new cheater maps, what they do is they double the Anglo population in a congressional district where the largest city is over 95% Latino, and that percentage is growing. It's not decreasing. Those are just some examples of how our community is being targeted. Yes, Donald Trump said he's trying to gain 5 more Republican members of Congress, but make no mistake, it is on the backs of our people. It is a threat to our people, to their upward mobility. It is an attempt to take away our voice from the halls of power where decisions are made about whether or not our communities get health care, whether or not there are good jobs in our communities that pay family supporting wages, whether or not our schools get the support that they need, and our children have an opportunity to go to college. And that's why we have broken quorum as Texas legislators, because we are determined to fight with everything we've got against this attack on our communities. We left our families, we left our children, we left our state, but it is to protect our families, our children, and our state. And I want to say how grateful I am that we have been embraced by Chicagoans and legislators and the congressmen here, and who stand in solidarity with our fight, because they recognize that an attack on the power of Latinos in Texas is an attack on Latino power everywhere. It's an attack on Latino identity, and it's an attack on our American identity. Thank you. Next, we'll have State Senator Cristina Castro.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Cristina Castro. I'm an Illinois State Senate Majority Whip. I'm proud to stand here as an Illinoisan, as a Mexicana, and as someone with deep roots in McAllen, Texas. Today, that's right. Girl. Today, we, the Illinois Legislative Latino Caucus, and our hermanos and hermanas of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus of Texas stand together to speak with one voice, united by shared heritage and purpose. A purpose rooted in justice and representation, and in the constitutional promise that everyone's voices deserves to be heard and counted, no matter what their zip code is or the language that they speak at home. As Vice President for Policy of the National Hispanic Caucus of State Legislators, I want to make one thing clear. This is not just a Texas issue. This is a Latino issue. Okay. And when it comes to protecting the political power and civil rights of Latinos in this country, we are all Tejanos today. Let's look at the facts. Latinos accounted for over half of the population growth in Texas between 2010 and 2020. Yes, that's right, half of the total growth. And in 2022, Hispanics officially became the biggest share of the entire population of Texas. So to do this mid-decennial gerrymandering now, when maps had already been drawn after the 2020 census, is an unscrupulous silencing of not just a community, but the largest community powering the state's economy, culture, and future. When a community delivers the growth and receives none of the representation, that is racist gerrymandering. And it's not just racist, it's unconstitutional. This is an attempt to dilute Latino political power because of our voices are growing louder, because our communities are organizing, because we demand a seat at the table, and in some in Texas and in Washington, D.C. are afraid of what happens when we get that seat. As the VP of policy, I say this, whether it's in Texas, Illinois, or anywhere in this country, maps must reflect the people. And this map fails that test. It fails the test of fairness. It fails the test of equity. It fails the test of democracy. And we are here to say enough. Basta ya. We urge the courts, policymakers, the voters, and the public at large, especialmente nuestra gente, to pay attention and understand this power grab, because this map not just lies are lines in a piece of paper. It is a test of whether America still honors its promise of equal representation for all. As Latinos, as lawmakers, and as defenders of democracy, we demand a map that reflects the truth. La verdad, la pura verdad. The Latinos are an indispensable part of Texas and of this nation's future. We are not going away. We are not staying quiet. And I'll be damned if we stand by and let our communities be silent. I'm here in arms with our friends in Texas, and I'm going to give it to my sister in arms, Senator Selena Villanueva.
This is totally not the group. If you're a wallflower, this is not the group. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Senator Selena Villanueva, and welcome to the 12th District. Proudly representing a district on the southwest side of the city of Chicago that includes incredible neighborhoods like Pilsen, Little Village, Chinatown, Bridgeport, and so on and so forth. I bring that up because I am the very proud daughter of Mexican immigrant parents that came to Chicago many, many decades ago. But I'm also proud to be standing here with colleagues who represent my family in Texas. From San Antonio to Austin to Dallas to Fort Worth to the border. Because so many of us with roots have roots throughout this country and family members throughout this country. And this fight, and I want people to remember this fight is not a fight that is just being fought in Texas. This fight is for the soul of our country, for the soul of our democracy. I want to be clear because this fight is personal. Our communities are watching, and we see exactly what's happening in the state of Texas. These maps aren't just bad policy. They're a calculated attempt to silence Latino voices, to divide our neighborhoods, and to erase our political power. Representation is not a privilege. It is a right.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to repeat that again. Representation is not a privilege. It is a right. It means that when we fight for this representation, it means having leaders that represent us because they come from our communities, because they understand our lived experiences, because they're the ones who carry our stories into the rooms where decisions get made. Latinos are not invisible, no matter how much people think that they can try to get rid of us or try to silence us. We are a driving force of the economy in this country. And we are raising the next generation with pride and with dignity. When you divide our communities on paper, like this unconstitutional cheating map, what you're really trying to do is to break our power. And we're not going to let that happen. This is a fight for our democracy. And we're here to send a message that in Illinois, we stand with our colleagues, with our colegas, with the people of Texas, shoulder to shoulder, to defend the right to representation. Thank you very much. Muy brevemente en español, y les quiero decir esto. Hay mucha gente que está viendo todo lo que está sucediendo en este país en este momento y están diciendo que qué podemos hacer. ¿Por qué nos debería de importar lo que está sucediendo en el estado de Texas? Y les estoy diciendo aquí, como legisladora, senadora del estado de Illinois, lo que está sucediendo en Texas puede suceder en todas partes de este país y no podemos dejarlo suceder. Están tratando de robar una elección del año que entra. Están tratando de robar nuestro derecho al voto. Están tratando de robar nuestras voces. Y estamos viendo en este momento cómo están tratando nuestras comunidades. Y juntos, y lo estamos haciendo juntos. No importa que sean de Texas, no importa que sean de California, que sean de aquí, de Chicago o el estado de Illinois. Juntos vamos a luchar por nuestra democracia. Porque nosotros tenemos derechos. Tenemos el derecho de representación y tenemos el derecho de tener las voces en alta, de decir no más. No más corrupción, no más lo que están haciendo, el odio que tienen nuestras comunidades, no más. Juntos lo vamos a hacer y juntos estamos en la lucha. Muchísimas gracias. And I'm going to give it back to Chairman Romero for our Q&A.
Thank you, Congressman Covey. If there's any questions, we'll take questions now, whether any specific member or anyone who's here. Yes.
Hi, Lee John Greco, freelancing for the New York Times today. Senator Cornyn of Texas said that he wants the FBI to assist Texas authorities in their efforts to locate or arrest the Democratic lawmakers from Texas. Can you tell me, have you spoken with anyone from the FBI office here in Chicago? Is there any indication that the FBI is going to coordinate with authorities in Texas? Obviously you're here, so it's pretty easy to locate where you are right now.
Yeah, I think you've really answered the question yourself. They know where we are. We feel very safe here in the state of Illinois. We feel very safe by the counsel that we've received from our lawyers. But I think the real point here is John Cornyn is running for his life for a state Senate seat. He's running against a criminal and Ken Paxton, and both of those men are saying very dangerous things by the incendiary comments that they make, making comments like, this is where they are, go hunt them down, or we'll use the FBI as though they have that right. Unfortunately, these are like bottle rockets being sent from Texas into Illinois. They're not landing, they're not reaching the safe place that we are here in Illinois. So we thank all the Illinoisans and those that understand the law, that there is a place for it. It's in a courtroom and not just misplaced, where those are real dangers. You know, we come from a state in Texas where we saw someone make incendiary comments such as there's an invasion of Latinos coming into the state of Texas, and a young boy, 18 years of age, buys a gun in Plano, Texas, and drives to El Paso to kill over 20 men, women, and children. Those are the kind of comments that happen. They're incendiary, they're dangerous, and they should be held responsible for those kinds of comments.
If I can just follow up, seems like under most circumstances, the FBI doesn't have the authority to enforce state or local laws, but obviously we've seen with Trump that he doesn't always go by, precedent. So, spoken with all their lawyers about whether
Governor Pritzker's been very clear about that, that reality, that possibility, or lack thereof. Thank you for your question.
Sophia MVP, you mentioned, leaving your business and your family. I wonder if you talk about how those are affording us, fines and staying here, especially now that the judges ruled against Baylor with PAC not being able to fund it.
Well, I think that's a decision is specifically about Beto O'Rourke's group. But look, we've said since we've got here that the price that we will have to pay, whether that be for the fines per day or a small price to pay for this moment in time in America, where the senator said so eloquently, this is a fight for democracy, one that we all believe in. So right now, we don't have to make that decision in terms of how we're going to pay for it. I think that if one of my colleagues said that they needed help paying for those fines, I would gladly support them in paying for those fines. Just as we found Americans, whether that be from California, Texas, anywhere around the country, are in support of this, because nobody wants politicians picking their voters. No, and they understand that what this means, and they're in it with us.
Good afternoon, Michelle Gallardo with ABC7 here in Chicago. This morning, your minority leader basically said something to the effect and committed to staying here until at least August 19th, which is of course when the special session ends. But Governor Abbott has already said that he will simply convene special session after special session. So at the end of the day, once you return, what's going to,
I find it really interesting that Governor Abbott said he'd call special session after special session into 26 and 27. Well, if that's the case, this map will be running under the old maps, right? But look, what we know is that we have already made a difference. There were so many people around this country that didn't even understand what redistricting meant to them. That's not the case anymore. Anytime you turn on the news right now, the story is what is happening with this steal, with this corruption, the next level of corruption through these cheating maps. And we've also seen what had always been our hope is that other states would take action. We saw that Governor Newsom has announced that they are going to take this to the voters in California to allow them an opportunity to offset the five seats that we may lose in Texas. So we hope that by the time that we go back into special session, he may say he's going to call it. Maybe he's put himself out there. By that point, we don't know what's going to happen between here and there. We know what we're going to do today. And we're going to continue down this march. As Representative Congressman Al Green said, we're going to continue to educate as many people around this country as we can. We're going to continue to travel, and we're going to make sure that America understands the moment in time. There has been moments like this in our past. And there has been men, women, children of all colors and creeds that have joined in this fight and said, not on my lifetime, and we're not gonna allow it to happen. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, in for a photo.
Yes, my. Yeah.